In the heart of a forgotten town, where echoes of laughter once filled the air and dreams flickered to life on a massive screen, a dilapidated drive-in theater stood shrouded in mystery. The crumbling sign, half covered in rust and vines, read Starlight Drive-In, hinting at the glories of yesteryears. But now it was merely a relic of the past, a haunting reminder of what used to be. The night was ominously quiet, save for the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl, as if the world itself held its breath, waiting. Mary Ellen Thompson, a single mother of two, had always been drawn to abandoned places. They whispered stories to her, tales of lives once lived. After a series of setbacks that had left her struggling, she stumbled upon the Starlight Drive-In listed for a mere $250. It was absurd, almost laughable. A property with a history, a dream worth pursuing. She thought it could be a fresh start for her and her children, a way to create memories in a space long forgotten. However, Mary Ellen was not the only one interested in the old drive-in. Across town, Mark Fletcher, a local businessman with a reputation for ruthlessness, had his own designs on the property. Known for his cutthroat tactics, Mark saw the theater as an opportunity to expand his empire, envisioning a sprawling shopping complex that would erase the last vestiges of nostalgia in the area. His ambition was as relentless as it was destructive, and he intended to stop at nothing to get what he wanted. The day Mary Ellen signed the dusty contract was filled with a mix of hope and dread. As she handed over the cash, a part of her felt exhilarated, while another part trembled at the enormity of the task ahead. The drive-in was a shadow of its former glory, with weeds pushing through the cracks in the asphalt and the projection booth looming like a ghost above her. But as she stared at the screen, a flicker of determination ignited within her. She envisioned families returning to experience the magic of cinema once more, her children playing in the grassy lot, laughter returning to the very air that had grown so stagnant. Yet the joy of ownership was short-lived. Within days, Mary Ellen noticed strange occurrences. At night, silhouettes moved in the shadows of the theater, and the sound of footsteps echoed through the empty lot. Whispers of local legends warned of the ghosts of the past haunting the Starlight, but Mary Ellen brushed them off as mere folklore. She had palpable fears to face. One evening, as she worked late to clear debris, she discovered the door to the projection room ajar. The room was dark and foreboding, filled with old equipment draped in dust, but something called to her, an inexplicable force that drew her closer. As she stepped inside, the air felt charged, thick with anticipation. Mary Ellen's heart raced as she surveyed the room, her fingers brushing against the cold metal of the projector. But that wasn't all she found. There, hidden beneath a rotting floorboard, was a heavy vault, locked tight and desperate for attention. Realizing the potential significance, her mind raced with possibilities. What could it contain? Old film reels? Long-forgotten treasures? The thought of unearthing something valuable sent a thrill down her spine. But before she could pry it open, the harsh sound of a door slamming echoed through the theater, causing her to jump. Panic surged through her veins. Had Mark Fletcher finally come to confront her? She had heard the rumblings of his intentions, his underhanded tactics growing more aggressive by the day. The notion that he would try to scare her off was chilling. She had already received threats disguised as friendly advice, reminders that a single mother should know her place. Mary Ellen shook her head, refusing to let fear dictate her future. Determined to discover the secrets the vault held, she knew she had to act quickly. The stakes were high. If Mark found out before she did, he would surely seize the opportunity to claim the drive-in for himself. Empowered by the urgency of her situation, she decided to rally the community. Perhaps with their support, they could restore the theater and unveil the mystery locked away in that vault. She envisioned a grand reopening, where the entire town would come together, fostering a sense of unity and nostalgia that had long since faded. As Mary Ellen continued to dig deeper into the history of Starlight, She uncovered old newspaper clippings that spoke of a time when the drive-in was a haven for families. But the stories became darker, revealing that it had once been the center of a scandal involving illegal dealings and an unexplained disappearance. The closer she got to unlocking the vault, the more the tension in the air grew. What lay behind that vault door? Was it mere treasure, or could it hold the key to untangling the web of secrets that had ensnared the drive-in for decades? As she pondered these questions, a chill ran down her spine. The stakes were higher than she had imagined, and it was clear that uncovering the vault's contents would not only change her life, but could also spark a confrontation that would demand everything she had. The night deepened around the Starlight Drive-In, cloaked in shadows and secrets, as Mary Ellen took a deep breath, ready to face whatever awaited her in the darkness. As the night enveloped the Starlight Drive-In, Mary Ellen tightened her grip on the flashlight. The dilapidated structure loomed before her, a ghost of its former glory, yet teeming with the promise of unimaginable wealth. The thought of the vault sat heavy in her mind, its potential contents swirling with dreams of hope for her and her daughter. However, she knew deep down that this was not just about the money. It was a fight for her future and a battle against those who would seek to claim what was rightfully hers. With each tentative step towards the projection room, Mary Ellen recalled the whispers she had heard from the townsfolk. Rumors of a hidden treasure had circulated for years, tantalizing both the curious and the greedy. But it wasn't just the rumor mill that presented a danger. The real threat lay in Ellen Patterson, the wealthy developer who had been eyeing the drive-in for years, intent on tearing it down to make way for a shopping complex. Ellen would stop at nothing to acquire the property, and Mary Ellen knew that if she found the vault first, it would be the ultimate blow to Ellen's plans. As Mary Ellen pushed open the heavy door to the projection room, it creaked ominously, sending a shiver down her spine. The room was dark, save for the sliver of moonlight that spilled through the broken windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. The familiar smell of stale popcorn and mildew hung in the air, but it was the thrill of discovery that quickened her heartbeat. The vault was hidden behind a false wall, and she was determined to find it. Mary Ellen began her search, running her fingers along the peeling wallpaper and examining the old projection equipment that was left to decay. As her flashlight beam swept across the room, she noticed a peculiar outline on the wall, one that didn't quite match the surrounding surface. With her heart pounding, she approached the anomaly, tracing the edges with her fingers. It was indeed a false wall, and beneath her touch, she felt the cold metal of a vault door. But just as hope surged within her, the door swung open, and she stumbled back in shock. Well, what do we have here? Ellen Patterson's voice pierced the suffocating silence, dripping with smug satisfaction. Mary Ellen's stomach dropped as she glanced up to see Ellen, flanked by two burly men, their faces masked in shadowy menace. Ellen, Mary Ellen managed, forcing the name past her lips. What are you doing here? Ellen stepped forward, her expensive heels clicking menacingly against the floor. I could ask the same of you, dear, but this is my territory now. You see, I've been watching you. You think you can just waltz in here and take what's mine? Mary Ellen felt a rush of adrenaline. I'm not taking anything that belongs to you, Ellen. This place is finally going to have a chance to breathe again, not be demolished for your profit. Ellen laughed, a cold, mirthless sound. Oh, Mary, you lack the vision to see what this drive-in could become. With my resources, it could thrive again. But you're in over your head. She gestured to the men at her side, who stepped closer, blocking Mary Ellen's path. I'm not afraid of you, Mary Ellen asserted, her voice steadier than she felt. She could feel the weight of the situation pressing down upon her, the stakes higher than ever. I know you want this vault, and I won't let you have it. Ellen's expression hardened. And what do you think you can do, Mary? You're a single mother with no power, no resources. Who do you think will believe you when I tell them you're trespassing? Her eyes glinted with malice as she stepped dangerously close, invading Mary Ellen's space. "I have something you don't," Mary Ellen replied, meeting Ellen's gaze defiantly. "I have hope, and I have the will to fight for my daughter. I will protect this place." In a swift movement, Ellen motioned to her henchman, who advanced menacingly on Mary Ellen. Fear coursed through her veins as she backed away, glancing towards the vault door. It was now or never. The thought of her daughter's future fueling her determination. She dashed towards the door, hoping to slip past the men before they could grab her. But Ellen anticipated the move, and with a swift command, she ordered her men to block her escape. "You won't get away that easily, sweetheart," Ellen taunted, a gleam of satisfaction in her eyes. Mary Ellen felt a surge of panic but fought to maintain focus. She had to outsmart Ellen, and she had to do it quickly. "You don't understand," she shouted, her voice echoing in the enclosed space. "You're playing with fire. Whatever's in that vault, it's more than just money. It could ruin you." Ellen raised an eyebrow, intrigued despite herself. "Oh, really? Do share." Using Ellen's moment of curiosity to her advantage, Mary Ellen took a deep breath, the tension thick enough to cut. "I'm not the only one who's been searching for this vault. There are others out there who would kill to get their hands on what's inside. You might think you can control everything, but there are forces at work here that you can't comprehend." The words hung in the air, charged with the weight of unspoken truths. Ellen hesitated, her confidence wavering for a heartbeat. But then her composure returned as she smirked. "You think you're clever, don't you? But I'm not afraid of the competition. I welcome it." As the men lunged towards her, Mary Ellen dashed past them, adrenaline fueling her escape. She raced towards the vault, every instinct screaming for her to unlock it before Ellen could regain control. She had to find out what was hidden behind that door, and she had to do it before it was too late. The confrontation had escalated beyond her control, and with every passing moment, the stakes grew higher. As she fumbled to open the vault, her heart pounded with a mix of fear and determination. She would fight for her future, for her daughter, and for the chance to rewrite their story, no matter the cost. As Mary finally managed to grasp the cold handle of the vault door, her pulse quickened. She took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage within her. The metallic clang echoed through the projection room, a grim reminder of the stakes. Mary pushed the door ever so slightly, and the rusty hinges groaned in protest. With one final heave, the vault creaked open, revealing the glimmer of something unimaginable. Inside, bundles of cash and gold glittered under the faint light that filtered through the dust-cloaked room. Mary's eyes widened in disbelief. She had stumbled upon a treasure trove worth $298 million. Gratitude and disbelief surged through her veins, but it wasn't just the money that overwhelmed her. It was the possibilities it presented for her and her daughter. "I can't believe it," Mary whispered, almost as if afraid to voice her thoughts. She looked around, feeling the weight of the moment. But then, she heard a familiar voice behind her, cutting through the euphoria like a knife. "Mary!" Ellen's voice was sharp, accusatory. "What have you done? You were never meant to find this." Mary turned, facing Ellen, who stood in the doorway, her expression a mix of fury and desperation. The tension in the room crackled like static. "I should have known you would come here," Ellen snarled. "You think you can just take what's mine? This isn't yours, Ellen," Mary retorted, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and defiance. "You let this place rot. You abandoned it just like you abandoned your family." Ellen stepped forward, eyes narrowing. "You have no idea what you're talking about. This was my father's legacy. You have no right to it." Mary's heart raced. The confrontation was escalating, but she wouldn't back down. "Your father's legacy?" she scoffed. "You let it decay while you chased after wealth and status. This money can change everything for me and my daughter. It can give us a future." Ellen's lips twisted in contempt. You think you're entitled to it just because you found it? You think I'll let you walk away with this? Mary's determination solidified. You're right. I'm not entitled to it, but I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to fight for a better life for my daughter. If you want to stop me, you'll have to do better than just words. For a moment, they stood in a standoff, their emotions palpable in the stale air of the projection room. Then, with a sudden realization, Mary took a step towards Ellen, a newfound confidence radiating from her. You don't have to do this. We can work together. We can turn this place around, make it what it once was. You can have a part in this too. Ellen hesitated, her anger wavering as she took in Mary's earnestness. You think I'd want anything to do with this dump? It's not just a dump, Mary insisted. It's a symbol of what could be. If you allow it, we could breathe new life into it. Don't you want to honor your father's memory? A flicker of uncertainty crossed Ellen's face, and for an instant, she seemed to consider the possibility. But her pride was a formidable barrier. I can't just let you take it. You'll ruin everything, Mary pleaded. I know you're scared, Ellen, but think about what we can create together. We don't have to be enemies. The room felt heavy with the weight of their shared history, the buried emotions threatening to surface. Ellen's facade wavered, and in that unexpected moment of vulnerability, Mary seized the opportunity. Let's compromise. We can run this place together. It can be a drive-in again, a place for families, for memories. You can be involved, but you must let go of the past. We can make it worthwhile for both our futures. After a tense silence, Ellen's shoulders slumped, the fire in her eyes dimming. I don't know if I can trust you, Mary. Trust needs time, Mary responded gently. But I promise you, I'll never abandon this place, just like I won't abandon my daughter. As if a dam had broken, Ellen suddenly stepped back, her voice cracking. It's just, I lost everything. I was so focused on what I wanted, I forgot what really mattered. Mary took a bold step forward, closing the distance. Then let's remember together. We can build something amazing here. A legacy both of us can be proud of. They stood there, staring at one another, two women shaped by loss and longing, yet now bound by a fragile hope. In the hours that followed, the two women began to strategize, their initial animosities replaced by a shared vision. They delved into years of neglect, meticulously planning how to resurrect the drive-in theater. As the first light of dawn broke, illuminating the dusty remnants of the past, they resolved to turn the theater into a place of reunion, laughter, and joy once more. Over the ensuing months, the drive-in transformed spectacularly. Ellen's expertise in business began to mesh harmoniously with Mary's passion and commitment. Together, they curated a program of classic films, food trucks, and community events, rekindling the spirit of the drive-in. Their hard work paid off, and soon, families flocked to the venue, the sounds of laughter and chatter echoing through the once silent lot. As the years rolled on, the drive-in became a beloved local institution. Mary and Ellen forged an unbreakable bond through their shared triumphs and trials, the legacy of the drive-in knitting their families together. Mary's daughter grew up watching films under the stars, her laughter mingling with the breeze as Ellen's children joined in, their lives interwoven like the film reels they showcased. Years later, as Mary stood at the entrance of the newly renovated drive-in, she couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come. The cash and gold that once seemed so vital had transformed into something more meaningful. A strong partnership, a restored sense of community, and a second chance at happiness. Ellen's father's legacy had been redefined, not merely by wealth but by connection, family, and the unyielding spirit of reinvention. And as the sun set over the drive-in theater, the glow of the neon lights flickered back to life, a vibrant beacon of hope that reminded them all of the power of resilience and the beauty of a shared journey.